Hello, children. This is Manish Yadav, and today I am going to start a new chapter, that is my childhood, for class ninth. In this chapter, we would study about our 11th president of India. As we know, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he was selected as well as elected as 11th president of our country. He is known as the missile man of India because he invented a missile in India first time. So in this chapter, we are going to have an account of his life and his childish days. Before you read, some questions have been put up at the very beginning of this chapter, and let you know each question very carefully. Before going to read out the questions, I want every students to be focused and interested in this chapter, because this chapter is about a great personality of our country, APJ Abdul Kalam. He has sacrificed his entire and whole life to serve his dedication for our country. Before you read, let you know the questions. Can you think of any scientists who have also been statesmen? Students, do you know of any scientists who was a scientist as well as statesman of our country? Means just he was a scientist as well as a great leader. He was elected as 11th president of India. So APJ Abdul Kalam, whose project in space, defense and nuclear technology guided India into the 21st century to become our 11th president in 2002. APJ Abdul Kalam, whose projects, whose activities in space, he was looking hard work to invent something and to launch something in this space. Defense and nuclear technology guided India into the 21st century, and he was elected as 11th president in 2002. Next question is, this is not the question, it is additional information. In this autobiography, Wings of Fire, he speaks of his childhood. This chapter is an autobiography. Autobiography means something that has been written by the person, and he is the own writer about his own life. The autobiography Wings of Fire, in this article he speaks, APJ Abdul Kalam speaks about his own childhood. What does he speak? Let you know through the text. First paragraph, as you could see on the screen, I. Here, I refers to the writer or narrator of this chapter, APJ Abdul Kalam. It is his own autobiography. He says, I was born into a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameswaram in the erstwhile Madras state. He was born into a middle class. Middle class means the class or the family which could survive easily for their arrangements and expenses. It was a Tamil family, as you could see on the screen. It was a Tamil family. Okay, Tamil family means Rameswaram. He was belonging from Rameswaram, and it was a Tamil family, and it was in the former Madras state. You know, APJ Abdul Kalam was belonging from a middle class, and his family was a Tamil family, and he was belonging from Rameswaram in the former Madras state. What does he describe about his family? My father, Jainul Abdin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Means he was a middle kind of person. He was not a farmer educated nor much wealth. Means he was not educated nor much wealth. He has no enough money. Means he was a middle person and his class was medium. Despite these advantages, he possessed, dear students, he possessed great innate wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. He possessed a great inborn quality or feeling in one's nature. Means he was very polite and kind-hearted person. And he was having a great wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. Means he was very courageous and challenging person. He had an ideal helpmate in my mother, and my mother was an assistant for my father. She cooperated in his every works and decisions. APJ Abdul Kalam tells the name of his own mother, Ashiyamma. Ashiyamma was the name of his own mother. He says further, I do not recall the exact number of people she fed every day, but I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our own family put together. Means she was Ashiyama. She was very kind-hearted and donator. She has a good personality and she offers foods to the people every day. APJ Abdul Kalam could not recall the exact number of people who were served by my mother, but this number, the number of people was more than the number of his family. Means she served at least 22 to 25 people, including her own family, every day. Second paragraph, I hope this paragraph would be clear to all the students. Second paragraph, I was one of many children. APJ Abdul Kalam was one of their many children I was one of many children, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks. I was short boy. My height was not enough. Born to tall and handsome parents, but my parents were handsome, and I was short, rather distinguished looks. I was a short boy, but my parents were handsome and beautiful. We lived in our ancestral house, you can say simple, as well as that is the house of our parent. Okay, means parent house, Patrick, and which was built in the middle of the 19th century. And the house, it had been constructed in the middle of the 19th century. It was a fairly large Pakka house. In those days, Abdul Kalam lived in a Pakka house. Means he was belonging from a middle class family. His house was Pakka. Nowadays, we could see so many kacha houses not well constructed in the society because poverty is spreading, increasing so fast due to some resources and reasons. Made of limestones, and his home was made of limestones and bricks on the Mosque Street in Rameswaram. His home was situated in the Mosque Street of Rameswaram. It was made of limestone and bricks. I think these informations would be clear to all the students. Where was his house situated, and with the help of which material was it made of? Next line, my austere father used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. Simple, strict, and severe. My father, he was very simple, strict, as well as severe. He used to avoid every inessential comforts. Means comforts that is not mandatory and necessary for us, and luxuries. Means he was not much more expensed, means he could not or he did not expense money without need. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine, clothes, and in fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. Abdul Kalam says, however, necessities, I mean the things and the arrangements that was necessary to us were being provided. And it was in the terms of food, medicine, or clothes. Means these things, medicines, medical, and food, as well as clothing, we all were given. And in fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, and I had very secure childhood in my childish days. Abdul Kalam says that he was belonging from middle class family. However, he has all the facilities which was necessary and compulsory. I hope this paragraph also would be clear to all the students. I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. I was loved and cared emotionally by my family. Let's know the third stanza of the chapter. That is, the Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. For reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. The Second World War broke out in 1939. He describes about the time of Second World War, which was broken out in 1939. When he was 8 years old, Abdul Kalam was 8 years old. For reasons he had never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. People were requiring the seeds of tamarind. It is sour in taste. A sudden demand in the market was erupted, and he used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Mask Street. He used to collect seeds of thermans, and he sells every seeds to a shop. It was a provision shop on Mask Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. 1 anna, it is the currency. In the ancient or previous times, there was measurement of coins: 1 anna, 2 anna, 3 anna, 4 anna, 16 anna, and 1 rupee. 4 anna. Okay, means there are 16 annas in a rupee. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin, brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. Dinamani, it is the name of a newspaper, okay, magazine you can say. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the war, and he used to tell me stories what happened in the war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. I began to understand what he usually told me about the war in the newspaper of Dinamani. Our area, being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war. Due to isolated area of mine, it was unaffected by the war. There was no impact and effect in our areas because it was isolated. Somewhere it was very high, somewhere very low elevation of the ground. But soon India was forced to join the Allied force, and sometime like a state of emergency was declared. But emergency was declared, and everybody has to join Allied force because it was the time of war. The first casualty came to us. It was their students. Let me erase all the underlines to make it more clear and understandable. Yeah,